All right, this is Mr. Bean Cooley, and this is my video for the syllabus and expectations for the geometry and the algebra 2 trig class. Rather than have you sit in class, excuse me, rather than have you sit in class and listen to my spiel, I figured we could do something more enjoyable in class, and you can listen to this spiel at home. So what you want to do is have your graphic organizer out while you do this. And what I'm kind of doing is summarizing the syllabus for you. We are going to have a quiz on this information, a short quiz, basically a recall quiz. Basically, did you kind of review this information or not? I have two rules, okay? These are my crucial rules for our class. The first one is to respect the speaker, okay? Whoops, sorry about the keyboard. You have to respect who's ever speaking, because we have to have that sort of order. And I think that respecting the speaker means so many things. It means not talking when someone else is talking. It means eye contact. It means really listening to what the person is saying. It means not distracting behavior. So respecting the speaker, I think if you do respect the speaker, you're not going to do a lot of the other things that that teachers would say, oh, you're breaking the rules. If you are respecting the speaker, whoever has the floor in a classroom discussion, then you're not going to be doing the things that teachers don't want you to do. The other rule is to participate. And we're going to talk a lot about what it means to participate. And it's not just raising your hand. And it's not just being polite. And those are important factors, but we're going to talk a lot about what classroom participation really is. And that's going to be coming up this year. Okay? 3 consequences. Now, consequences are things that, will happen to you if you break the rules. The first is you will be warned. Hey, listen. And a warning is not, I'm warning you. A warning is, I need you to stop talking to your neighbor, or I need you to make sure that you're giving good eye contact, or I need you to stop fooling around with the friend behind you. Those are warnings, okay? If I have to redirect you in some way, that's a warning. Whether I say it's a warning or not doesn't make a difference. If I'm telling you to kind of correct something, that's a warning. The second consequence would be some loss of points, and we're going to talk about participation, and you're going to be evaluating yourselves on participation in a rubric. And what's going to happen is in that rubric, I'm going to ask you a series of questions about your classroom participation, and you're expected to answer honestly. And if you're constantly engaging in poor behavior, that's going to basically, you're going to lose points. Now, if those things are ineffective, of course, we have calling home or a disciplinary referral. I think I wrote 2 or 3 disciplinary referrals last year, and I hope the number this year is 0, quite frankly. I'm a little picky about the bathroom. 1 person at a time in the bathroom. You need to ask, okay, if just raise your hand, can I go to the bathroom? I don't want a mad rush of people in the bathroom, so my rule is 1 person at a time in the bathroom. 85 and 15, I hope that you kind of remember them from today's lesson. 85 is the percent of the grade of your grade based on tests and quizzes, and we talked about how that works. Not all assessments are created equal. Not all assessments will affect your grade the same way. Some assessments are little 10 or 20-point assessments. Some assessments are 100-point assessments. And those 100 ones are worth a lot more than the 20 ones, but they're all in that same pot. And 15% is based on homework and participation. We didn't really talk about homework so much today in class. Here's how your homework grade works. It's very simple. You start with 100, okay? Everybody has 100 homework grade right now. Every time you don't do a homework, you lose 5 points on that grade. So 5 points lost for each homework that wasn't attempted, okay? And I also do give half homeworks. So if you attempted some of it and not other parts of it, then you would lose, say, 3 points or two or 3 points. And each time you don't do a homework, you lose those points. And all I do is in my little grade book that I have with me, I write down an H. That means you didn't do your homework that day. Otherwise, I assume that you did it. And it's very easy for me to tell because we're going to begin most classes with basically you're going to take your partners or pods and go over the homework with them. So it's very easy for me to tell who didn't do their homework because that will be the one person in the group who can't contribute to that group. Um, so there's one little caveat to this that I will let you have one missed homework for free, basically. And I want to explain that. It's not a homework pass. It's in the case of an emergency or a night where you were overwhelmed, and it's one homework free per quarter. Okay, so basically, if I only write one H down in the book for the entire quarter, you will still get 100. But it's not. I don't want to call it a homework pass because then people say, "Oh, I have to do the homework at the end of the quarter. I have my homework pass." It's not for that. It's for emergencies. It's for nights, a night where you are just swamped. You have a paper due. You have a test coming up. You have, a lab that you have to get in. Those sorts of nights when you just have too much to do, you get one free homework per quarter that you can miss without penalty. 5 things you need to bring with you every day to class. Okay? The first one is your 3-ring binder notebook. Important. This is solely dedicated to math. I don't want to see social studies. I love social studies. I don't want to see it in your notebook. I love chemistry. I don't want to see chemistry in your notebook. I love, well, I like English, but I don't want to see it in your notebook. So please, I only want to see math. I'm going to be giving you worksheets every day that guide us through our lessons. They're going to be three hole punched. All right. You're going to put them in your notebook, and that's the end of it. And it needs to be solely for math. Okay. Number 2 is your calculator. You need to get a TI-84. I cannot imagine that you don't have one, or if you lost it, you need to get another one. If you cannot purchase a calculator, there's something going on that prohibits you from purchasing a calculator, you need to talk to me privately, and I will get you a calculator. But the expectation is that you purchase a calculator unless you talk to me about your situation. Okay. Number 3, pens, not as critical, but sometimes people like to highlight, people like to write something in pen just to emphasize it, okay? Pencils, big one. You need to bring your own pencils, but you also need to get 24 mechanical pencils for our class. What I do is I collect pencils at the beginning of the year because I know kids lose them. They don't bring them to class. They forget to bring because they don't need a pencil for every subject. So what I do is I collect 24 mechanical pencils from each child. I leave them in the classroom so that we can use them throughout the year. But the expectation is that you bring your own pencils to school, but the pencils that I collect are really for times when you just forget. And last but not least, you got to bring your homework with you. Homework doesn't count if you don't bring it with you. Homework is a critical aspect of any math class, and especially this class because we spend quite a bit of time diagnosing and discussing homework problems. In fact, math is the only subject that study after study has shown that nightly homework is very effective in learning. No other subject has that property. There's been a lot of mixed research about homework, but all the research, no matter what end it's coming from, actually says that homework in math is particularly beneficial, more so than any other subject. Last but not least, we have one mission, ultimately. All right? And the mission isn't to do well on tests. The mission isn't to have a great grade. Okay? And the tests and the grades are indications that the mission is being met, but they're not the mission. The mission is to really learn how to think better. Okay? What's true, kids will say to me, when am I ever going to use this in real life? When am I ever going to use, when am I going to have to write a geometry proof, for example, in real life? The answer is you're probably not going to have to write a geometry proof. That's never been the expectation. But what is expected is that you learn logical thinking skills that then you can apply in the real world to whatever job that you decide. And there's this interesting idea out there that the jobs that you will be achieving later in your life aren't even created yet. So even if someone said, well, school should just be preparing people for jobs, you can't prepare for something that's not created yet. So in lieu of that, what we want you to do is get you to think, because thinking skills are transferable, meaning that thinking skills will help you in any aspect of your life. All right, so the expectation at the end of this video is that you have an understanding of my expectations, you have a better understanding of the syllabus, and you have an understanding of where I'm coming from with the things that I'm asking you to do. I am going to check tomorrow in class that you've filled this out, because if you fill this out, that's an indication that you watched the video. And like I said, we will have a quiz probably next Monday. Okay, that's when the pencils will be due, and I'll give the quiz the same day. So I will collect your pencils, and we'll give the quiz on Monday on the syllabus. And again, I may ask, I can ask you, what are the things you need to bring to class with you? What's the mission of the class? Why is the mission important? What are the two rules, and why did I choose those two rules? As opposed to giving you a list of 50 rules to know, why did I only give you two? All those things are answered in this video, and those are some questions you should be able to answer yourselves. All right, thanks.